BTS News. Busan is a city that never sleeps in the memories of BTS fans. It is in this city that two young souls meet, embarking on a journey they never imagined would become world legends. Park Jimin and Jungkook, two boys from this port city, have a story rooted not only in dreams and hard work, but also in a relationship that cannot be explained with ordinary words. From narrow streets to stadium stages, from laughter to tears, their stories are long poems written in silence, readable only by those who really listen. This story is not about two stars shining singly, but about two lights reflecting the beauty of each other. The two met as trainees at Big Hit Entertainment, coming with the same hopes and fears. Jungkook, the youngest among them, is a shy man who keeps the world in his eyes. Jimin, who was only a few years older, became his place to lean, learn, and grow. And from that moment on, something invisible began to form, not just a friendship, but a much deeper connection. Not many know that behind Jimin's soothing smile and Jungkook's cheerful laughter, there are many nights where the two accompany each other in silence. When tired of blocking, when training makes them almost faint, when criticism comes in droves, they just need to sit together, without saying much, just feeling each other's presence. In those moments, Busan feels so close, and they feel that they are no longer big city children who are lost, but two domestic children who are trying to survive. The story is further complicated when fame comes. It is not easy to maintain ties in the midst of a blinding spotlight. But Jimin and Jungkook, somehow, always find their way back to each other. Fans often capture small moments, the silent glances on stage, the way Jungkook calms Jimin down with one gentle pat, or the way Jimin smiles only at Jungkook, as if they had their own world. And although the public guessed, they never really opened everything. Because love, in whatever form it is, doesn't always have to be explained. One moment that will not be forgotten is when the two returned to Busan for a concert. Amid the roar of thousands of soldiers, Jimin and Jungkook stood on stage, staring at the city that once raised them. Jimin's tears fell, and Jungkook hugged him, without needing to say anything. It wasn't just a hug, it was a confession. That they are two Busan children who finally came home. That everything they went through, longing, pain, confusion, and love came back to one thing, their togetherness. Many ask if their relationship is more than just friendship. But maybe that question doesn't matter. No matter what they call each other, they love each other. A love that comes in the form of small attentions, in a look that knows without having to ask, in a loyalty that does not waver even in the midst of a storm. Jungkook often refers to Jimin as someone who always makes him feel safe. Jimin, on the other hand, has always said that Jungkook is a gentle force that keeps him going. When Jungkook faces pressure due to his status as the golden magne, Jimin is one of the first to secretly come to his dorm just to make sure he eats. When Jimin was emotionally exhausted, Jungkook would shoot funny videos just to make him laugh. Those little things, which were never made public, are evidence of a much larger relationship than could be portrayed on screen. In one documentary, Jungkook once said that Jimin was the one who made him feel appreciated, not as an idol, but as a human being. Those words didn't come in vain. It comes from hearts that have known and lived together for a long time. And Jimin, with his gentle smile, simply said that Jungkook is the younger brother who makes him proud every day. But when they look, there is something more to it, something inexplicable. It can only be felt. This story is also about loss and fear. When both had to serve in the army at different times, there was an unspoken sense of loneliness. Jungkook, who usually can always contact Jimin, now has to endure longing. Jimin, accustomed to hearing Jungkook's voice every morning, must learn to be silent in solitude. But even in that situation, they still supported each other. Through secret letters, small messages passed on by staff, or simply by looking at the same star at night, they stay connected. Recently, a small surprise shook Army's heart. In one of the accidentally leaked audio messages, Jimin's voice is heard saying, "I hope you keep smiling, Kookie. The world wouldn't be the same without you." A simple sentence, but full of emotional baggage that can only be understood by those who know the long history of their relationship. The fans couldn't hold back the tears because they knew it was not just a greeting, but a prayer from the heart. It is undeniable that Jimin and Jungkook's relationship is one of the most special things in BTS history. Not because of drama or hype, but because of authenticity that can never be faked. They have been through too many things together, and each has been a witness of each other's growth and development. And in many ways, they are one soul in two bodies, complementing, protecting, and strengthening each other. When the world asks what true love is, perhaps the answer is among their seconds of silence. In a hug without words, in a smile that only they understand, in the songs they sing together without having to equalize the notes, because their hearts have been in harmony for a long time. Busan is not only their birthplace, but also a silent witness of the long-growing love between two boys who are now legends. Now, as they slowly return from military service one by one, ARMY's greatest hope is to see them stand together again, not just as artists, but as two human beings rediscovering their home in each other's eyes. And when that day comes, when Jimin and Jungkook walk side by side on the same stage, the world will know that love is never really gone. He was just waiting for the right time to shine again. From Busan, with love, a story that is not fully revealed, but does not need to be explained. Because true love, like their stories, doesn't need validation. It just needs to be felt. In every great story, there is always a chapter written with tears. Jimin and Jungkook's relationship did not escape that. Many fans do not know that there was a period in which the two moved away from each other, not out of hatred, but out of fear. When the pressures of the industry become too great, when expectations weigh on the shoulders of the young, when they begin to feel like they're losing themselves in the glare of the cameras, they involuntarily take their distance. But it is precisely the distance that teaches them the importance of each other's existence. Jimin reportedly disappeared from the training room for several hours without telling anyone. Jungkook, who had been silent at first, finally looked for him himself. He found Jimin sitting alone in the studio downstairs, his eyes red from crying for too long. Without saying anything, Jungkook just sat down next to her, pulled his hoodie over his head, and leaned back. They didn't talk for almost 2 hours. But back then, something was fixed. They don't need a lot of words. Their world works in silence, understanding each other. When asked by one of the staff about that moment, Jimin simply replied, "There are people who don't need to talk to make you feel whole again. Jungkook is that guy for me." The words echoed, sneaking silently into the hearts of the fans reading between the lines. Jungkook, although he never liked to express emotions clearly, once wrote the lyrics of a song that was touted as a silent letter to Jimin. In the song, he writes, "You are my home, even when all the doors are closed." A simple but deep confession, which illustrates how Jimin became the only place he always sought. Time goes on. The world is changing. BTS conquered the world stage, made history, broke records. However, behind it all, the one thing that never changes is the way Jimin and Jungkook look at each other. Their gaze when singing the ending of Magic Shop, or when sitting next to each other on a variety program crowded with voices, always presents a silence that only a sensitive heart can read. They speak with eyes, with a small smile, with a light, meaningful laugh. The most moving moment occurred during a concert in LA, where Jimin lost his voice in the middle of the performance. As he began to panic, Jungkook, who was then on the right side of the stage, stepped quickly over. He not only helped finish the verse, but also patted Jimin's back with confidence, as if to say, "I'm here." There is no dialogue, no explanation, but the whole stadium witnessed how love in the form of protection and presence can be so strong, even in the midst of the brightest spotlight. A few months after that concert, in a short V Live, Jimin was asked by a fan who is the member who most makes him want to stay in BTS.